Hello and welcome to another segment of the It Works Man Show. I'm Rob Dawson, and we do this call once a month to try to, give you more insight from a man's point of view. It Works is not a woman's business. It's anybody's business. Anybody can do this business if they make up their mind to. Tonight, we have a very special guest on, but first I'd like to introduce my bro, Corey. Corey, how you doing?
I am doing fantastic, man. How are you today?
All right, man. I appreciate you hanging in there once a month to do these calls with me, man. We inspire a lot of people, and, I like to keep it that way, man.
Yeah, man, you got to give the people what they need, man. Thanksgiving is coming up, so we got to make sure we keep it full on the inspirational tip and providing them with stories from a guy's point of view, man, because I think that is definitely needed,
Absolutely, man, absolutely. So tonight we have Patrick Martin on. How you doing, Pat?
Good. How you guys doing?
All right, man. Can't complain. How about yourself?
Good. Thank you for having me on tonight. I'm excited and pumped at the same time. So thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I think your story will reach a lot of people who either are listening live or will listen to this recording. And I hope, you can say some things that they'll identify with, and I'm sure that'll be the case because that's how it's been with Corey and I's story.
Yeah, I hope so too. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, absolutely. So we'll go ahead and get started here. I guess Patrick, start from the beginning, man. Start from when you knew nothing. You or your wife knew nothing about It Works.
Yeah. Okay. So. Yeah, you're right. We knew nothing about It Works. We were living in Texas at the time. We're going back to 2013, probably the beginning of 2013. Of course, I was working a full-time job. I work in law enforcement. Been working in law enforcement for the past 8 years, almost 9 years. So Chris and I were in Texas. Unfortunately, we were in an area where it was hard for Kristen to kind of find a job, not speaking the language down there too well. So we were both looking for some type of sustainable income. And I'll never forget, I was on the couch one day on a weekend, and Kristen had come across an old friend from one of her youth groups back in the church from back home that she was at. And her friend was in this company called It Works Global. So Kristen watched her for a little while, and one day I was sitting on the couch, and she turned to me, and Kristen said, "Hey, I'm thinking about joining this company." And she told me a little bit about it. And, of course, you know what I did? I wrote it off immediately. I said, no, ain't going to happen. And I didn't really know anything. I didn't do any research, didn't look into the company. It was kind of one of those typical dude things where your wife tells you something, you're kind of like, yeah, honey, that sounds great, but it ain't going to happen. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So she kept kind of bugging me about it. And I finally asked her how much it would, what's the investment, what does it take to join the company, and she told me $99. Well, back then $99 was a lot of money for us. We were struggling. We were away from our families. We were on a single income. I wasn't making that much money. Kristen wasn't working. We had tons of debt from past bad choices and experience and situations from our past. We were, Rob, I'll be honest, and Corey, we were in the red. We had Kristen's parents helping us out financially. It's hard to say, but it's the truth. And I'm hoping, some people on this call tonight can kind of identify with that because that's real life. I mean, we were sinking, and Kristen's mother and father threw us a life float, really. But anyways, back to the story. I told Kristen, I said, you know what? We've spent $99 on worse things. I said, if you want to give this thing a shot, go ahead. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking we're going to be out $100, and that's it. So that was in March of 2013. Kristen joined shortly thereafter. She did all her training, and she moved up in the company very, very quickly. We became diamonds in 2 months, double diamonds in 4 months, triple in a year, and presidential in 2 years. So we've been doing pretty good, man, and it's completely changed our life.
Wow, man, that's an amazing story. Corey, anything you'd like to add to that?
The cool thing about it, man, is it sounds so reminiscent of, kind of where I was at. As far as from a guy's perspective, I'm like, I don't know what that thing is, so I'm not really with it. And it's just funny how, I kind of told, my wife the same thing, just kind of, trying to just, move past it in a sense. Like, let me put it in the back burner. And, how funny is it that, we're on a call, it's been a few years for you, Rob, for me, and for Patrick as well. So it's just funny to hear, man, how all these stories, usually all kind of start off the same.
Right, absolutely. And, I'd like to ask everybody listening, what's your plan B? Because I can guarantee you plan A is going to get shaky at some point. You see what happened with the government lockout, a year and some change ago. And everybody, you ask anybody back around that time before that happened, they say, man, you got a government job. You're set, man. You're set. And look at that. People, I had a friend who is in it works, and they worked for the government, and they seen people get locked out. They came to swipe their cars to get in, and their cars didn't work. And guess what? That's how they knew they were laid off and couldn't come back to work, So, you don't want to be in that position and not have a plan B. If you're here listening, either it works is your plan B you're working on, or you're considering it being your plan B. And to work on a plan B, you're not wrong. You go to Target, go to Walmart, and you'll see all those machines, self-checkouts are starting to replace cashiers. Pretty soon stores are going to be automated. There might be one person in there oiling up the machines and working on the machines, doing maintenance, but there's not going to be any people pretty soon. Everything is starting to happen online, Amazon, all of those types of things, just like your customers can get their It Works products to their door without leaving their house. Pretty soon, that's going to be our reality. So you got to think about where you're going to be when this transition happens. Can you talk a little bit, Patrick, from the man perspective of how you learned to adapt over the years and figure this business out?
Sure. From a supporting role, I can speak. I can give some good advice to the listeners out there. Some guys that may be on the fence about their wives working this business. I'll tell you what. I think from a guy's point of view, a lot of the networking type businesses out there seem kind of hokey. There's not a lot of positive hype about some of the online networking companies out there. And I think from a guy's point of view, it's kind of a turnoff when their wives want to get into a business, similar to that, kind of a networking business. But It Works is so different. There's not a lot that you have to put in. I mean, it takes $100 to start this business. I mean, it's not. There's consumable products that actually work. There's an excellent compensation plan, one of the best compensation plans I've ever heard of. And the best part, this company wants to make you money. They want to see you get out of debt. They want to see you do better. Like Rob, you were saying, the guys and girls out there, they have to have a contingency plan. I'll tell you what, I remember that government lockout. I was there. We suffered, and I'll tell you what, Rob, if it wasn't for It Works, I don't know where we'd be right now. I'll be honest with you. It was a life preserver for sure. So I think from a supportive role, from a supporting husband, it's crucial. It's absolutely crucial that the husband is on board with the wife, supports her, but also understands the sacrifice and commitment it takes to run a business, to run your own business successfully from home. I think a lot of husbands think, well, it'd be great to have my wife at home and she's taking care of the kids and the dog and she's doing all these things, but I'll tell you what, it's hard. I think working from home takes more dedication, takes more consistency. It's easy to get lazy at home. It's easy to lay on the couch, but it's not easy to run a business and manage people and get yourself out there and get out of your comfort zone and go talk to people. And So I think it's very important that husbands understand that and understand what they're getting into. But the flip side of that, Rob and Corey, is that once you get past that and get over yourself and step out of your comfort zone, I mean, your contingency plan is there. You open yourself up. You open those doors to all those other avenues that you want in life. So it's great.
Absolutely. And I know, Corey, you have a saying you love to tell the guys to be the man and not the mannequin, correct?
Absolutely, man. Because when I started this business, I only knew what I saw. I only knew what went on in my household, and I only knew the people that we had brought into the business. So I was like completely mind blown when I saw that there were people in this business. There were guys in this business, and there were guys that were having success in the business. That was like a revelation for me. And, I just kind of got to a point where it's like, hey, like, a lot of the times there'll be, couples, right? So, the wife maybe will start it, and then sooner or later the husband will get around and get into it. And, it just kind of got me thinking, and it's like, hey, like, be the man and not the mannequin. And what I mean by that is, it's not good enough just to, do the dishes, for your significant other, while they're at a rap party. It's not good enough just to, just kind of hang around the house. Like, you need to contribute to this. And the reason that I feel so strongly about that is I know what this business has done for my family. I know where, I can only imagine where we could be if I didn't take this business serious enough, So it's just kind of like a rallying cry in a sense to all guys, like, hey, man, like, be the man and not the mannequin, step up, make sure that, you're working this business just as hard as your lady is, because this business is literally what changed everything, for me and mine. So, I just want to share that with everyone else because, it's possible to make it happen,
Absolutely, yeah. And I want to say, and I don't want to complicate this, so I want to say to every guy who may be starting to complicate this as you're hearing us get into this, start where you are with what you have. You got to just start from where you are. If you got to work your way into this with baby steps, okay? Corey and I and Patrick, we didn't start out 100%. We gradually worked our way up, I remember when my fiance, she got involved in this, and my first reaction was, oh, great, got a hobby. It'll keep you busy. Go at it. My reality is 16 hours tomorrow, and that's all I'm focused on. It works, good for you. I don't want to hear about it. And that was my reality in the beginning. And one thing I have to give her credit for is she went to work, and she made me pay attention. I wouldn't have seen the value or paid attention to this if she didn't make me see the value. And that's what I tell women all the time. If you want a man to respect this and take this serious, you got to make him see the value. I guess that's even no different for a single guy working this business. If you want anybody to take you serious or to take this business serious, you got to show them the value, and you have to go to work. And 1 month, one of the months, she brought home a $5,000 paycheck. And I stopped dead in my tracks, and I said, okay, now what are we doing here? Because I heard her scream, and she fell out the chair, and I ran downstairs. I thought the kitchen was on fire or something. I ran downstairs, and she was just on the floor kicking and crying. I'm like, what the heck is going on? And she showed me, and I about fell down, too. I'm like, $5,000 in 30 days? What's going on here? What's going on here? I can't even – I'm 16 hours a day working as a contractor. I can't even clear that in 30 days, So that intrigued me. I wanted to look into it a little more. I still would not listen to the calls or, I didn't just jump right on board because in 2012 there was definitely more women doing this than men, and I've seen majority women, so that kind of bothered me as a man. And she was smart enough to play a call out loud, and I heard a gentleman on that call, which turned out to be actually the first It Works distributor who stuck around with Mark and Pam, Rusty Lackey, who is a very good friend of mine to this day. He said, I could stop doing It Works right now, and I got enough money for my family to live the rest of their life. And I was making a bowl of cereal, and I almost dropped that bowl of cereal. I turned around so fast. I said, what did he just say? No. Turn that up. What did he just say? No, there's no way. Nobody has enough money to live the rest of their life, you know, and that really intrigued me. So we flew to Florida. Long story short, the events were smaller. Mark had green carpet on his golf course. We got up under that tent, and I seen majority of women there. And I said, see, I told you. I started giving her a hard time. I said I should have just stayed on the beach or something or hung out somewhere else. There's all these women under here. I see very few men. And, you know, the next day we toured the old corporate office. And long story short, I was blessed to be locked in the office with Mark. I didn't feel like it was a blessing then, but I look back now and, you know, it was a blessing. I started shaking his hand. I didn't want to meet him. I just wanted to shake his hand and leave. She was excited to see him again. And she took a moment and said, Mark, he takes the products. He knows the greens and the supplements are awesome, but he will not do this business. He feels like it's for women. Well, needless to say, Mark started squeezing my hand. I mean, squeezing my hand like we were about to arm wrestle or something. So I then made eye contact with him. Didn't say anything. It was an awkward silence. And I'm looking at him like, what are you doing? He's squeezing my hand. And he said, I'm a man. And, you know that golf course you were on last night? I paid several $1 million cash for that golf course. And it's a hobby for me. And, yeah, I got lightheaded and I thought about it. I said, well, man, I got hobbies too. You know, and I said, man, he's a man and he's doing all of this. And he said, you're not leaving Florida till we get you. We're going big places, and you need to be on board for this. And that evening, my life changed, and I flew back here to Pennsylvania, and we've been running ever since. That was in 2012. And now we live the type of lifestyle where, you know, all my neighbors are doctors and lawyers, but none of them are free like we are. And, you know, one gentleman came up to me. He said, I don't know how to describe it, but you just seem to own your time. I run out, push my kid on the bus, and there's smoke coming off my tires as I leave our development trying to get to work. You come out, push them on the bus, and go back in. It was like, I just don't understand it. I've never seen no one who owns their time. So with that being said, Patrick, how has your life changed since you guys have, you know, had success with this business?
Well, I really like what you said about the time thing, Rob. I mean, I think time is our most important commodity here. I mean, we're given a gift every day. I think Rusty was saying in your previous call, I believe he was saying we're given a gift every day. We're given the gift of time, of actually being alive, and it's our choice what to do with our time. And this company has really freed up a lot of time for my family. Kristen and I are expecting our first baby. We're very excited.
Wow, congratulations.
We're back home. Thank you. Yeah, we're back home with my family here in New York, and we're just loving what It Works has done for us. We built our dream home here in Rochester, and we're just doing a lot. We're giving back. We're helping out my family. We're helping out a lot of people, and we're just we're really enjoying some of the fruits from It Works and the future it brings. So, but I wanted to go back real quick, Rob, and just tell you that, you know, as you were telling us your story, it kind of brought something up in my mind as Chris and I were sitting in Texas trying to figure out what we were going to do with this business and if it was even going to work. And we were looking at these It Works income charts and saying, you know what, you know, babe, wouldn't it be great just to have like $2,000 extra a month, you know, maybe just enough to cover the mortgage, the rent, and maybe a little bit more. I mean, man, we would be doing so well. And I think it took from me, from my own point of view, it took that from it was in steps for me. I think the first kind of steps was at levels of support, kind of like, yeah, babe, you can do this, you know, you got it. But it didn't really take off, Rob and Corey, until I really stepped in and, you know, started doing the expos and started talking to people, getting out of my comfort zone, wearing the It Works T-shirts and hats. And once people saw that and they saw that cohesive, like, kind of partnership, it really took off and went to a different level. So I just wanted – I don't know if I took some steps back, but I just wanted to touch on that.
No, that's good.
Yes. So now we're looking forward to the future. We're looking at Ambassador next, and we're really, really hopeful that 2016 is a year for us, so we're excited.
Well, absolutely, Corey.
Wow. It's just crazy, man. I just get blown away, man. Like I get blown away just from hearing, just all the similarities in it. Like you were mentioning, when you're looking at the chart, like, hey, like, what about this extra $2,000? Like, that could pay for a mortgage, and then you were able to build your dream home. My wife and I, we've been able to do the same thing through this business, and this business has provided, hope. And the reason that I say it's provided hope is because, prior to this business, I did not know how, to accomplish some of these things. They just seemed so far away. It just seemed like, the closer you thought you got to it, the further and further away that it would run away from you in a sense, So that part of it, just kind of catches me a little bit, because it's like, man, like I remember that, like I was there, like, like that was, I felt the same way when I was doing it, man. So it's always good just to hear it, because sometimes you kind of forget a little bit, not in a bad way, but sometimes it just kind of, just kind of gets brushed away in the day-to-day stuff and the hustle and the bustle and the trading of the time, like you mentioned. So, man, it's just good stuff.
Yeah, that's great.
Right, absolutely. And, guys, can we talk about we have so many products now, and I remember when we only had a few, and I remember when we used to run out of wraps and we had to have wrap-less parties and focus on other products. Yeah, it was crazy, man, and a lot of people quit around that time. People gave up. People say, you know what, if I have to do one of those, I can't do it. I'm out of here. And you know what, that's a state of mind. But can we talk about just one thing I've been seeing that's been huge is these energy drinks, man. I mean, energy drinks alone, without the help of supplements, is a $67 billion industry. And my lady and I, we have the energy magnets on the side of our car, and, we just go through the drive-through. Went through the bank not too long ago. The bank manager ran in the window and said, you got some of those on you right now? And I keep a cooler with me. And people are always flagging me down to try those, especially those who are energy drink fanatics. What do you guys think about it?
For me personally, For me personally, It introduces a lot of products to me, right? So, energy drinks, we all heard of them, we all seen them, but I was never really one to like take them. You know what I mean? It just kind of like wasn't my thing. It had like a stigma with it in a sense. And, I remember, I don't remember what event it was, but I remember we were at an event. And I remember they were, maybe this was when they were launching it. I can't remember 100%. But I remember they were just talking about, like, they were saying, like, hey, there's no energy drink that's going to be perfect for you, but let me explain to you why this is better. And as I was listening into that, I was just thinking to myself, like, wow, like, they don't just, they didn't just jump into the energy drinks because, it's a billion-dollar market. Like, there's thought that goes into it. And when there's thought that goes into it, you see that, you feel that, and it just creates a different level of love and a passion and a product that you have to offer, because it's just not something that they put together so they can make a couple extra dollars at the end of the year. So that was kind of my take and my perspective on it. It's definitely something that, has me excited. It's definitely something that, when you let people try it, it's just like a rap almost. You know what I mean? Like, when you let people try it, it just explains itself. You know what I mean? So that's just kind of like my personal take on it. Even down to the essential oils. Like, I had no knowledge of what the heck that was. And here it is, it launched, and, like, I literally am sitting next to the diffuser right now. So just, like, the thought that goes into these things, man, is what really captivates and really gets me.
Absolutely, Pat.
Yeah, so this is kind of like my thing, because, It Works has given me the opportunity to actually pursue one of my passions, which is in the fitness industry business. In the last year and a half, I've been attending the National Academy of Sports Medicine, was able to obtain a certified personal trainer and a certified fitness nutrition certificate. And this is kind of like my thing. So I'm kind of like the ingredient guy. It's kind of how Kristen and I work hand in hand, kind of synergistically in a way. So from a supplement point of view, guys, I am the research king here. It Works is very they're very transparent. Like Corey was kind of saying, you know, Chris and I kind of say the supplements, the wrap in itself kind of meets people where they're at in kind of their fitness journey, whether they just had a baby or they have 10 pounds to lose or 100 pounds to lose. The wraps are kind of like the first things that we like to start customers with, because it leads into other products. The wrap kind of meets anybody where they're currently at. You don't have to be anywhere specific to put a wrap on. I mean, it's simple. I think it gives people confidence to, continue eating healthy and maybe start a healthy fitness regimen, or, go to the gym 3 times a week. But it leads to other supplements. Like you said, the It Works energy drink, I think it's an awesome product. I think they put a lot of thought into it, like Corey was saying. A lot of the ingredients, and not to get too scientifically on you, but a lot of the ingredients they put in there were not just thrown in there like a lot of these other energy drinks that you'll see in the market.
Right.
Not getting too much into the science behind it. A lot of the problems with blood sugar problems and diabetes these days that are running rampant, It Works address that. They put a prickly pear extract in there to try to address some of those potential issues with the public, and it's just really good products. They're very well put together, and they work synergistically together, and that's what I love about it.
Absolutely, man. You're absolutely right. And, we have products for people from 18 years old to 80. Our customers range from 18 years old to 80, I can attest to. And, we have something for everybody. Once we pull out that product sheet, there's not a person around who can't find something on there that they could incorporate into their life. And everybody's busy, but you know what? If you don't take care of your body, you won't be busy for too long, right? So
that's right.
It's what we do, man. Guys, you can't overcomplicate this. Back in 2012, I used that excuse. But you know what? I got over it quick. And before 2012 ended, I experienced freedom that I would not have experienced at my 9-to-5 job. So, there's plenty of guys here to this day, fast forward. And if you say this is a woman's business at this point, it's just an excuse. There's too many guys doing this, rocking out now. Right. Corey, anything you'd like to leave the people with as well?
Just in closing, man, if you guys tuned in, we appreciate that. We do these calls for ourselves, and we also do these calls for you. And I hope that you guys have gathered and gained something from it, because, I know that I have. It's been a treat, man, just listening to your story, Patrick.
Thank you.
So, if you guys are here and you're listening to it, just know, man, you can do this. You can do this. You can get this done. You can have, the level of success that you're looking for. The only thing that is in between you and reaching your goals is just you. That's it, man. Here's 3 guys from 3 different parts of the world with 3 different backgrounds that are all sharing a very similar story of success, and, it wasn't like we were just born with the secret sauce to be successful. Nah, man, we went out, we worked, and we made this thing happen, and you can do the same thing as well. So, don't be intimidated, don't be afraid, don't be, don't feel like it's too much, like Pat was saying, it's never too much, man. You can make this happen. So, I mean, that's kind of really all I got, man. Just to, encourage you guys and just let you know, you can do this, man. You can get this done, and here's 3 examples, tonight, just letting you know, what it is and what it's about.
Absolutely. Patrick, anything you'd like to leave the people with?
That's awesome. Thanks, Corey. Corey, that was awesome, man. It's true. It really is true that before It Works, I was a typical kind of box-minded, if you will. I don't know if that's the best terminology, but kind of looked at life from inside a box. I wake up at 6:30 every morning, drink the same cup of coffee, go to work at 8, and back home by 5. But now It Works is giving me the opportunity to think bigger, think larger, think outside that box. And we're just really excited to see what it can do in our lives and other people's lives, guys. The guys that are on this call tonight, this is definitely not a woman-only business. Guys are doing it every single day. They're hitting the mark. So I encourage you guys to get connected, support your wives, step outside of your comfort zone and get into it, because like Corey said, it's just you in the way. And I think it's awesome, and thanks for having me on tonight, guys. Appreciate that.
Most definitely, and I love something you said about getting outside your comfort zone. Do you know the only place your destiny lies is outside of your comfort zone? I like to ask everybody in closing, who owns your time? And who writes out your checks? Because when that relative who raised you all their life gets sick, when that loved one you care so much about isn't doing so well in the hospital, are you able to just break away from the everyday hustle and bustle of life and go and tend to that person like they tend to you, maybe coming up raising you? Or do you have to ask someone for permission to? That's something to think about, and I know that's huge, whether it be your children or a relative. Don't take your dreams to the grave with you. That's very selfish. You have something to offer the world, and it works as the vehicle that can get you there. So get back with the person who got you on this call, because they truly care about you. Fellas, thank you for being on with me.
Thank you for having me, guys. Corey, I appreciate that.
No doubt. All right. Good night, everyone.